Weeks off on flex time, and it's been awesome. It's been super fun, and I'm ready to rock and roll. And I promised you guys at the beginning of this live that I would talk to you about decision making. And the reason why is it's all over my life right now. It's all over your life right now. It's all over my coaching department right now. And we've been having these conversations about complacency. And how has anybody noticed any complacency in your life? Let's be like really honest. You guys who are on Zoom with me right now, have any guys noticed any complacency in your life? I mean, I have. I totally have. It's like I noticed that like I didn't feel like getting on a plane. I didn't feel like, going and visiting friends that I had made agreements to go visit them. It was like pulling teeth. Literally, I was like, Shanda, just go, just go. And I was like, wow, why do I feel like this? Like, what's going on? And it's not because we're crazy. It's because we've literally spent a year pretty much in lockdown. Even if you weren't in total lockdown, right? Like I still was going to restaurants and I hate to say it, but I was still having friends at my house and I was still doing that stuff. And yes, I even caught COVID. I probably completely deserved that because I was hanging out with people. And that being said, I still didn't realize how much of isolation I still was in. Do you guys feel that? Like it's like, you can't go everywhere you wanted to go. And so what happens is a new groove gets created in your life and you start to operate in this new groove. And so I wanted to just bring this up, and we have actually an audio newsletter coming out about it that's in more depth, but I wanted to take that concept and bring it into decision making. And one of the ways that I've been able to really watch myself through all the patterns of either complacency or inconsistency, or, do you guys know that consistency is the number one habit when it comes to high performers? It's the number one habit. Like if you have a lot of consistency breaks, then you can work really hard, have a pop, and feel like you're doing really well, and before you know it, you're kind of back in the same emotion. You're back in the same rut. And it's very, very frustrating because it's like you get up and then down. So it's complacency, or not complacency, it's consistency that you want to look at. And you want to look at, where are my consistency breaks? And don't take them all on, take on one and go after it. So the way that I've walked through all of these moments where I have been unsure about myself, unsure about my business model, unsure about my messaging, unsure about so many things. I mean, even as I'm going to the next level, I just broke through another moment of feeling unsure. Like I had this moment, I'm always super transparent. My team's always like, I didn't know that, because I'm super transparent about my emotions and I don't hide any of them. And I had this moment like probably 2 months ago where I was like, do I really want to grow it bigger? Do I really want to? You know what I mean? Like, I never thought it would get to this size. Do I really want to, And then I was talking to Yara, who does copy for us and also works in the copy club with our PACE clients. And we were talking yesterday because we're developing a new VSL, a video sales letter. And she was like, yeah, like I had this moment where I was like, not too long ago, like, why should I go bigger? Like I've already got everything's fine. Why should I go bigger? Like, what's that next thing? I walk around going like this hook. Like, where's that next thing that will actually hook me into playing a bigger game? Because you know that maintenance isn't real, right? It's not real. When you start going on maintenance, you go backwards. You literally go backwards. And it's like, think about it. Would you ever want to learn from somebody or watch somebody's lives or read somebody's blogs or books that was just maintaining in life? The reason why it starts to go negative, and negative is the word, it starts to go negative. Everything you worked for to get here starts to stack down because the leader, the driver in you, loses its steam. And when that happens, people stop following. Well, when people stop following, you stop having buyers. And so before you know it, you're back on the starting block of going, oh my Lord, I worked all of that to just get there. So I know this. That's why I walk around going, what's that next thing to hook me? And the only reason why we get a little nervous about going that next stage, you might not call it nervous, but it's like, what's the point? You'll see these words come out in your language. And that's why in our leadership program, we watch people's words so much. It's like, because we can tell exactly where somebody's come from is based on how they choose their words. That's your leadership. And so when your words start to say that, there's something about it that you're unsure about. And so the game is, if you could reduce, definitely next, by the way, definitely write in your calendar, next Thursday, listen to the audio newsletter coming out next Thursday. Especially if you're on our email list, make sure next Thursday you listen to the audio newsletter, okay? Because it's going to take this even deeper. But if you can look at the areas in your life that are causing the most pressure and find a bit of a mind game around it, because your mind is driving your decision making. And so find a mind game around it and play with the game of reducing pressure. So ways I've reduced pressure in the past is, say, I'm going to launch a webinar and, my last one sucked, right? I would literally say to myself, you know what? If I just get to the end of the webinar and make an offer, like just have the courage to make an offer and not like sink back into the, you know what I mean? Like where I'm like, okay, and here's the hour and my voice goes away. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Please tell me in the chat if you understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So it's like, if I'll lower my standard and I'll be like, if I could just get through it and be really bold and confident all the way to the end, that's a win. And so then I don't disappoint myself. You hear what I'm saying? And so I find ways to reduce my pressure all the time. I just have a client that just messaged me now, and she hired a sales manager, which is a big jump for her. And 6 months later, the sales manager is not the right one. And so she just hired 2 sales managers, and they're both building teams and they're both competing against each other. She's going to see which one works, right? And I'm like, that's great. But what's amazing about that is it's taken her so long to get here that what she could say is, I want to get pregnant again. I want to spend time with my little boy, and the business is going to go on the back burner. Let's be honest. How many people do that? But instead, she reduced the pressure on herself. And she feels like, her words to me was, I've never felt so safe in my business. That's a pressure reducer, right? And what most people do is they pull back, and they realize when they pull back, oh my gosh, that drive doesn't go away. And so now they start back at starting block number 1, because they're in a constant cycle. If they look, and you guys all need to look in your life for this circle, they're in a starting circle of getting to a certain level, and then they make it okay to quit or to pull back. And that is it. I call it the enemy because I'm into scripture, right? So you can call it whatever you want, but like, that's like the dark forces playing on your life. And if they play on your life well enough and have you convince you, what happens is you'll stay in this pattern. You'll just change the players in the pattern. Do you hear what I'm saying? So the way that I've never gotten caught in that, and I really do use the word never on that one, is along the way I realized that if I could reduce the pressure in my mind, I could come up with a new system or strategy. And the new system or strategy keeps me committed to whatever I said I was going to create. And there's, like, you guys know, there's 50, 60, 100 different ways to create your result. That's what drives me nuts when people say there's only one way. That's just not true. There's so many ways to create a result in your life. There's so many ways to like run up the corporate ladder. There's so many ways to make money. There's so many ways to, to be a VP. There's so many ways to be, like somebody said to me the other day, I'm in real estate. I have to work on weekends. That's not true. I did real estate. I didn't work on weekends. You know what I mean? Like, that's not true. I changed the system. So it's all leadership. So I want you to challenge some of the decisions you make and look at, where am I being inconsistent and where is the highest pressure? I'll deal with the inconsistency next week on the audio newsletter, but look for the pressure between now and tomorrow, and look for the pressure, and then play a mind game with yourself. What would be the thing that would have you think about this differently to reduce the pressure? And then you will pop a new strategy out of that. Trust me. Trust me. It's how it works. You don't need a big education to be able to do this. You just have to learn a process of thinking. All right, you guys, talk about process of thinking. I'm going to bring Salma up with me. Salma! Let's bring her up with me. How are you?
I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here.
Good. I love having you here. I actually put a wall size post-it up here so that I can pop some strategy for you as well. First of all, I was reading, Kelly was sharing with me this morning what was working for you to be able to create the results. You created $64,000 in the last quarter. You committed to this. So our clients, we call our PACE clients, our marketing mastery clients, our leadership clients, they're all asked to create a quarterly plan, right? Leadership's a little bit different than our business side, but like they're asked to create a quarterly plan. So she's a product. We had 78%, I believe it was 78% last quarter that hit their mark, which is incredible, which is crazy that more people don't celebrate themselves for that. But that's incredible. Right. And so you are one of that percentage. So you created $64,000. That was your quarterly goal, right?
Yes.
Tell us what that took from you.
Well, first of all, I feel like once I did leadership, like ACL, it a lot of things kind of transformed for me. So it took for me just being committed, like just declaring something and just commit to it and being consistent. And even though sometimes I had a lot of fears come up, I didn't stay there. I would like reach out for support or, just get coaching and just stay on track and also remind myself why am I doing what I'm doing and why, my goal is important to me. So yeah.
What I want everybody to hear here is that so I was actually even reading this in about how to pray right, and you've got to declare things over your life, right? And often we're declaring the wrong things over our life. Do you guys relate to that at all? We're declaring things like, this is hard. This is when my son says, "This is hard, mom." I'm like, "Yeah, but you do hard well." And so he walks around when he says, "This is hard." He goes, the other day he called me on that. I was like, I wonder how I'm going to be able to figure this out. And he goes, "Mom, like we do hard well." And I was like, "That's right, baby." You know what I mean? Because it's ingrained in after he says or somebody says the word hard, it's ingrained in him and he believes that we do hard well. And so that's a reducing the pressure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like now, if I didn't operate like that and every time things got hard, I pulled back, what do you think I would produce in my son? What do you think? Do you think, "Go for it, baby. You could do anything"? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's really, he's going to start calling me out on that because I didn't live that way. Right? Like
Yeah.
they don't do what you say, they do what you do. You hear
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so you got to speak life over what it is that you're trying to create. And you can't operate in this conversation of, yes, it's hard. Everything worth doing is hard. Birthing a baby is hard. Creating a great marriage is hard. You know what I mean? Getting in wicked shape is hard. So stop talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, just like, yes,
Yeah.
it's hard, but what do who do you have to be to create that? So
Yeah.
when I was reading what Kelly was sharing with me, I sent her a whole message about you, by the way, because I was so
Well,
inspired. She said,
and
she
yeah.
said you had four pay in fulls, two on payment plans, making a total of $64,000. This puts her at completion of her declaration of Q2 goals. She's 100% complete. Her HCL VSP, which is basically goal setting, um, uh, what's been working for her is consistency with email to her list. Hear the word consistency.
Yes.
She didn't know I was going to talk about this, right? Like
Oh,
consistency with email on her list, clear calls to action. So she wasn't second guessing.
yeah.
The Bible calls it double mindedness. If you double mindedness something, you will cancel out the miracle, right? And not making it about her and being in generosity and contribution. People hear those words like being in generosity and contribution. But the reason why she cannot second guess herself is she's not focused on herself.
Yeah.
She's actually focused on what do they need from me. Can you guys hear that? Right? Go in the comment section. I want to know, can you hear that? Can you hear that? Because if you can hear that, You just created a success formula that changes everything. So now, like Brandon, you're like, I'm stuck, right? I'm stuck. Okay, so if you're stuck, you just go, okay, so what do they need from me? Okay, well, I don't know what they need. Okay, well, then you just need to go now ask. Well, I don't know how to ask. Well, just be courageous and try. Right? And, oh, I didn't get a
Yeah.
response for them. Okay, so try another way. Well, I still didn't get a response from them. Try another way. I guarantee you that 2 or 3 tries, you're going to figure it out. The problem is what people do is they fall down and then they wait a month or 2 months before they do, let's say, that webinar again or that list build again or like
Mm.
the emails. I don't know what to write in my emails. You said you were consistent on your emails. I don't know what to write in my emails. Indication you're disconnected from the audience because
Yeah.
you're trying to create it out of your head. See, it's not all of you guys speak every day, right? Am I correct? Everybody uses their voice every day.
Yes.
Angela's like, maybe you speak or you type or you sign language. Like we communicate every day. Okay. So every day we're communicating. So the question is, are you listening? Right. And if you're listening, you have no shortage. I have not met anybody, even if they're a quiet individual, I've not met anybody that doesn't have anything to say. And so business should be easy. Should be easy because it's a communication factor. It's a relationship. So Salma, what can I help you with today? Congratulations for your rock star results.
Oh, thank you. So I was thinking about what should I ask you. So by December 21st, I want to like create $250,000
Okay.
by December 21st.
Well, so you did. Let me see here. Was this the most amount of money you've done in a quarter before?
That's it. That's the
Okay,
first
so
amount of money.
just did that. Well, so that in 4 quarters is that, right? So the cool thing is you're on track to be making 256 a year, which is pretty awesome, right? So you guys want to give her some love for that because that's awesome. Okay, so that's really, really awesome. And we see it in the comment section. So that really helps when the comment section goes. Okay. So you want to make 250,000 before the end of the year, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So what are you selling at currently? What price point?
So right now I'm selling 12 months coaching programs one-on-one. It's $99.7 a month and 10K paying full.
Okay, so you're gonna get tapped at that. Like you guys, whenever you can work with someone great and whenever someone can work with you privately, it's amazing.
Mm.
Right? It's amazing because eventually in your business, like I haven't opened up my 1% club. Like my clients, some of them will get in, but I haven't if I open it up, I would have so many people, right? We opened it once and we had like just mentioned it and we had like 60 people on a wait list. And so without even saying anything, like without, you know what I mean? Like it was just a mention.
Yeah.
And so, and, unfortunately, my time is starting to get to the point where I can't keep doing it. You know what I mean? I run 2 companies. And so, that's why I'm hoping things like this, I can hot seat, I can help, I can pocket coach, I can create Hardcore University that we're doing right now. I've been working on for like the last 6 months, is so that I can get training to the people around the areas they need it. And so when you're looking at like private, you cap out on that. And it's a great use for you to be able to see what people need and what they want,
Yeah.
but you're going to see they're asking pretty much the same questions over and over and over
Yeah.
again. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you're charging
So
$997
so,
a month?
so actually my goal, I'm sorry to interrupt you. My goal was to my goal like right now by the end of June, I want to have like 10 clients. Just to get clear because that's my first time coaching, and so I just wanted to get clear like on my avatar, the people I enjoy working with, so
Yeah.
I can next do a group coaching program, maybe a 6 months or.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to recommend you do. I'm going to
Mhm.
recommend that you do $1,700. I know you're like, what? For a workshop with you, either a 2 or 3 day workshop with you. Kind of like how, you know, in HCL, we got vision is 3 days. Like, and
Yeah.
you know how deep you can go in 3 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So an intensive is great because what it does is it brings your audience to a certain level, like quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you close gaps really quickly and it doesn't have to
Yeah.
take years. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you can get them there really quickly. So let's call it a workshop. Let's call it a 3-day workshop. And you guys, you can do this in any industry. Like in leadership, for us, it's a 3-day and then a 4-day and 90 days. But that's a full program. I'm not recommending she does that. I'm recommending she does an intensive. Like my friend Pete Vargas will teach you how to like do your signature talk in 3 days. I think they do it in 2 days now. Do you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
do a 2 or 3 day workshop for $1,700. Put 50 people in that. You're gonna find that easy. Believe it or not, give yourself 90 days to do it.
Okay.
You're going to find that easy because $1,700 is like easy for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is 85,000 and that's 85,000 in the door, which means you're not collecting payments on it,
Yeah.
which is halfway to your number. Okay. It's halfway to your number. You got 2 quarters left in the year. You guys
Yes.
want me here? So she gave me a challenge to hit 250 by the end of the year. I'm building a funnel right now. And so the funnel is I already know from her like her skill set and where she's at right now and her leadership is what I'm really looking at, right? I can't throw this plan up for everybody because some people like freak out. She won't. I'm giving her 90 days, right? 90 days to do this, so she'll be done right at the end of the quarter. Deliver it, right? At the end of 90 days, deliver it. And all of your time on your calendar should be really focused on this, okay?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
85,000 in the door. I've got my 85,000 plus my 64,000 that you've already done. That puts her at 149 between the two of these. 149,000. Okay? So
Yeah.
now when I look at this, out of 50 people in this workshop, you can now make a significantly bigger offer. Now it
Okay.
has to fit. It has to fit. Like whatever you teach here has to fit in to make it
Mm-hmm.
make sense. Like, let me just do a poll. And this is not an offer. But
Yeah.
if I was to open up private one-on-one 1% coaching to you guys, who would take it? Put 1% or put 1 in the comment section or the chat, depending on if you're in Zoom or Facebook. Just put a 1 if you're 1%, if you would take it. Okay, so do you see what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
there's people who would take it. And so if like the reason why I set it up like that is, you know, if you're here, there's always people like people watching right now that would love an opportunity to go deeper. I want to
Yeah.
flip the switch in all of your minds about thinking like it's an offer. I know some of you guys have adverse effects when someone makes an offer. You really have to get over that because it's not about you. It's so generous to make an offer. If I'm to open up my life to take people on to work with them, I got to give something else up to do that. You know what I mean? Like I have to give up building my other virtual assistant company. I have to give up, you know, maybe a vacation or two. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I have to give something
Mm-hmm.
up. I have to give up time on my calendar. I might have to give up lunch multiple days in a row. I know some of you guys do that. That's why I'm putting it out there, right? And so it's not like all about like you getting paid. It is actually about it is so freaking generous and not all offers stay around forever. You hear what I'm saying? So now you got 50 people. Let's just say you make a $18,000 offer, okay, to work with you in some sort of a group format. Okay.
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean we can't, hey Tony, it doesn't mean you can't like you can build that. So like in my 1%, which Tony's here in my 1%, you know, they get access to me on Voxer. If they want me to
Mm-hmm.
look at emails and like help tweak emails, I can do that. Remember when I wrote an email for you, Tony? And what happened? Your catering company got full with people like reaching out, right? It's like they have access to me to do that stuff. But we don't
Mm-hmm.
talk every single week, do we, Tony? No. right? Like we're in a Voxer thread. We have a VIP day every year, which is what he's here for. You know what I mean? Like that's the package. Do you see what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to be like, you get what I'm saying, right? So now
Yeah.
out of that 50 people, normally the number I like to play with is 30% conversion, but it's such a small group, it's going to be higher. So
Okay.
probably a good chance that you're going to be somewhere around 40%, which means that you got 20 people at 18,000. So that's $360,000. Now, about 20% of those will pay in full.
Yeah.
Okay. This isn't actually exact math, but let's call it 72,000. That's not actually exact math, but right. So now you got your 72,000 plus your 149,000. You're at 221. I'm a little short. Go pop a VIP.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a little short, but you're at 221. Right? But you're actually more
Okay.
than 221 because you're at 360 by the end of the year,
Mm.
plus your 85. So I'm just looking at money cash in the door, but you're at 360,000 um, plus your 85,000 plus the 64,000 you've already done. So you're actually at, before the end of the year, not money in the door because you've got a payment plan out there, but you're actually generating $509,000 in the year by
Oh.
doing this strategy. I'm telling you guys, this is why I'm talking about complacency and things like that. When you let complacency inside your mind, you don't think right. You think on what's more efficient,
Mm.
right? Like complacency thinking gets you thinking what's more efficient. What's the smart way to do it, right? It's all about you, your time, this and that. Can you guys make that connection? When I'm
Yeah.
complacent in my life, I'm driving from the thought process of what is going to figure out my time. It's all about me. I will end up in a box. I've seen it a million times. I've seen people like leave and go have babies and come back. I've seen people, shut down their businesses because, they're going through a divorce and come back. Like the game of life is not about pulling back. It's not about judging yourself. It's not about guilt of doing something or not. It's actually about like, I accept all the decisions I've made and I'm going to break this box. Even if it takes me 12 times going at it, I'm going to break the box. I'm going to go next level, which is why you have to commit and know exactly what you're committing to. I'm doing something called 365 live alive right now. I'm working out 365 days in a year and I'm tracking it. Anybody want to jump on with me? It's called hashtag 365 alive. You don't have to pick working out, but it's changing a habit for me of working out every single day. You see what I'm saying? And so the reason why I share that with you is because I'm breaking that next level of complacency for myself so that I don't have that in my thinking. Because if you don't break the box, what happens is you end up so deep in the box because you'll make decisions that actually put you deeper in the box. And what comes with that? Depression, unhappiness, weight gain, all of that. It's like all connected to being driven back into that box. Okay, so just to reiterate, we'll end this Coach with Shanda moment. So you've done $64,000. I said do a 3-day workshop or a 2-day workshop for 50 people at $1,700. You can do
Mm-hmm.
a 1 pay or a 2 pay. 2 pay
Okay.
make it go a little bit higher in price point. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's cash in the door. It's $85,000 in the door for her. She'll be able to sell that. I know that because of what she's already sold. She's got 4 pay-in-fulls in the door right now. And so this number doesn't scare her. You know what I'm saying? So now your calendar, you clear your calendar, you get rid of commitments that don't need to be there, you renegotiate things, you find ways to keep commitments a different way. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, and you figure it out. Okay. So
Yeah.
that your calendar for 90 days focuses on this and deliver it within 90 days,
Okay.
90 or 95 days. Okay. From that workshop, you're going to make an offer to those 50 people for 18,000. Your focus is 20 of them convert. Okay? That's $360,000 in cash. See what I'm saying? You're 20% of them are going to pay in full. do not make the pay in full option available when you make the offer. People make that mistake. You make the pay in full option after people buy.
Oh
So
yeah.
only sell the payment plan and then go back and offer a pay in full option that's available for 10 days. You guys, is this helping you guys? Is this helpful? The reason why is a confused mind does nothing. So we don't want to make people like, should I take pay in full? Should I? You don't want
Mm,
any decision, less decision making. Okay, this is how a funnel works. Less decision making. And this is not about getting people. It's literally about making it easier for people to make a decision. If you got 12 things to make a decision on in your life, you just tend to stop. Everybody does. You just got to go, hold on, let me just reground. What am I going to deal with first? You don't want that in an offer situation. Okay. And then, so 360,000. So say 20 don't convert from that. Then get on the phone with people.
yeah.
You'll know out of that in that workshop, you're going to know like there's a superstar, like there's Brandon, he's a superstar. There's Kathy, there's
Mm,
Selma. You're going to see people, you're going to be like, that person needs to step up. And you just go stand for them. And then you'll see
yeah.
other people are like, I know that person should not step up. Do you know what I mean? And it's all leadership and how they show up, right? And
Yeah.
so now you've done $509,000 by Christmas in some of it in payment plans.
I'm so excited.
Oh, I love that. You were doing what most people do, and you were undervaluing what you could actually do. And this is the power to good coaching, because you could have kept doing the same thing you're doing,
Mm,
and it would have been harder to hit it the way you're going than to step it out like this. This
yeah.
is a least level of resistance. You're going to get to build trust factor and all of that. And in that workshop, you're delivering incredible content to create a specific result for people. Like this isn't
Mm,
like I'm doing this to sell this. This is like
yeah.
its own program that makes these people like really strong in a very specific area of their life.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the people who want to move up to that next level, the 1% crew that are really committed, are going to go all in with you and rock it. Cool?
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yay! Quick question, Kimberly. Shanda, can you give us some information about the economy and where things are going? You said you would do this when I brought my when I bought my Zoom access. The state of the world is crazy, and I would like to hear our take on things. Thank you. That's a huge question, Kimberly. Um, I should Tony running restaurants here. For lack of like going on a huge scenario, obviously I don't have a crystal ball. I can tell you what I believe and what I believed before COVID, and looked at the numbers, and it's funny because this is not popular talk, which is why it doesn't end up in my VSL, which I would love it to end up in my video sales letter, but it turns people off because everybody wants to hear the vision, the excitement, this and other. I think COVID created kind of a God blessing for a lot of people because everybody got neutralized at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like we all globally got out of work, so to speak. I mean, yes, I know that like a lot of companies exploded, but we all got stopped at the same time. Like we had to shut down a bunch of events that were running. We all got stopped, and so it created this opportunity for us to all be on the same playing field, so to speak, and understand what we were. It created empathy. We all actually understood what each other were going through. If that wouldn't have happened, then what you would have seen is, have you guys ever been in a relationship too long? Anybody? You just stayed there a little too long, right? And so corporate America was in a relationship with many of their employees for too long. And it was coming, but it wasn't there yet. I'll give you a great example. I can write bots and computer systems and computer programs to assimilate like any human, even in the sales process. Like, I mean, before COVID, and when I was in Las Vegas, I went to get a lift to the airport, and I had the option of a self driving car or a human. That was before COVID, right? And so when you stop and realize, like the world is going automated. We were moving into virtual cultures, whether you like it or not. And I have one friend who's like, yeah, but we'll innovate and create more jobs. Yeah, that's called entrepreneurship. Because there's just, I mean, doctors, like there are machines that do that have a steady hand, or not caffeinated, to do surgery. I mean, that scares the heck out of me. I don't like the idea of a machine working on me if I needed surgery. But it's like anything else, it will become our norm. Remember when our cell phones, for some of you, were big blocks, and then they flipped over to the flip phone, right? Some of you guys don't ever remember that. But the fax machine turned into the computer. And so we're actually in that process right now. And a lot of people don't realize that. There's many restaurants who have already turned over, and COVID just sped that up again. Even here in San Diego, I went to a brand new mall, and there's nobody taking your order. You punch in all your orders and somebody runs it out to you. Right. And so we're reducing the workforce significantly on a lot of different levels, not just the working class, not just our kids in college. Like Google announced 2 years ago that they wouldn't hire any more college graduates. Like our belief systems are still catching up to what's happening. And so, although I think school's amazing, and I think and it doesn't really matter what I think, we are going in this direction. So now it's like, follow people that you trust their processing, how they think. Are they, like, when COVID hit, did they skyrocket, or did they like go down? Do you know what I mean? Like, pay attention to that. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to pay attention to that, because people who process, they think, systemize, they look at a problem and they can systemize it and go through it. That's really who I believe that you should be following. You know what I mean? Whether it's me or, Russell Brunson, or lots of people. It's not just in the marketing world. In fact, I think I can tell you, the coaching industry, I think it's going to consolidate. I think you should be thinking about growing your companies in a way that's set up to sell, which, by the way, is the best business model ever, because you make a multiple on your money, right? And so this just, it's more valuable having more clients than more high-end clients. So people think it's like more money. No, it's not. But you need to start with high end, because you need to get cash in the door to be able to afford the time to build out the automation funnels to bring in volume and pay cash. Do you know what I'm saying? Or not be afraid to run lines of credit. And so I think, I don't talk about this that much online. And I'm happy to, if you guys want me to speak more about this, but I'm not an economist. I wasn't even involved in politics until the world went to shit in a handbasket. Now I feel like on another level, I really need to understand it more. And now I'm like meeting with politicians, and I'm meeting with one next week. And, I'm going to work with all these politician women. And, I think we're being asked to step up on our education on another level. But saying that, coaching community is going to go consolidated. So set your business up for a sale. Like, don't be just thinking like, this is my life work forever. Be thinking, do your work, and just like anything, it's going to keep evolving, but you can get multiples, which take care of yourself. I also believe that you should be growing your income in digital currency, a percentage of it. Now, again, we don't know what digital currency is going to hit, but we know it's going to hit. You know what I mean? Like, and so you just don't want to be like 41% of all the money in America was printed in the last year. If I could go in your bank account and just add some zeros, how valuable would it be? So, these are like, you're working through it. I'm working through it. I got a lot of smart people around me. And just like anything, when I tried to just hand my webinar to somebody to make it work, I went through 3 people at about $20,000 to $15,000 a person. It never worked. But I learned a lot on all those 3. And then I showed up with my own thinking, and it crushed it. You know what I mean? So you just can't outsource your thinking. You have to just roll with the defeat and the breakdowns, and don't get emotional and curl up in the middle of the living room floor and cry about it. You got to just stop and go, what did I learn from that? Because that was valuable. And then get back up on the horse as quick as possible, because your ability to think and lead, which is why I'm obsessed over in our leadership division. I'm really, really looking to grow it, because I feel I just feel like I have a responsibility to get people strong in their leadership. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so that's my 2 cents on that. Did that help at all? You're welcome to like ask another question. I got to run and be with Tony. Tony, come say hi. And we can ask you the question. What do you think's happening?
Hi there. What do I think's happening? What in the world? Well, in the restaurant business, it's busy.
Yeah, that's great.
It's busy. We're doing better numbers in 2019.
That's good. But like when it wasn't busy and they shut you all down, what'd you do?
Thanks to you. I pivoted and opened up another business, which was a farm fresh produce delivered to your door when everyone was at home. They had to stay home, and we killed it. So and it gave me, COVID's been the best. I wasn't talking about that, but COVID's been the best thing for me because I got to change the menu. I got to rebrand. I got to do all the things I couldn't stop the train from doing, including things that weren't making any money.
Yeah.
And I got to redo everything, and we're profitable again. And we're like, it's awesome.
See, but this is what I mean. Like that's a thinking pattern. Do you know what I mean? So it's like when, like kids, cancer, COVID, they're telling us a million other viruses are coming. You know what I mean? And so it's like, the truth is none of us know what's real, what's not real. But what we do know is that we have our intellect to be able to take whatever's happening and turn it into lemons. Or lemonade, not lemons. Lemonade. And so I'm like lemons. There's my big thing of lemons. And so I just think it's really important to not just listen, but to listen and think. And look at your life, your goals, and what's meaningful to you, and flip it over.
Because who I am in life normally is a fast boom, boom, boom. During COVID, I sat and watched. Yeah. I didn't open when all the restaurants opened because I knew they were going to close us down again. Yeah. I didn't do pickup and delivery because it cost too much money. So it was a real learning tool for me.
So good.
Patience.
Intimacy.
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 Ongoing practice.
It's intimacy. So, and Tony's done our leadership program as well. And how was that for you?
Amazing. Great. Yeah. I mean, I've been on coaching.
Yeah.
I coached. Yeah. I'm still in coaching. Right
What was the big aha for you?
Patience. Being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And getting intimate.
So good.
Connection.
So good.
Yeah.
And notice what helped with the pivot.
Yeah. All those things.
All those things are what helped with the pivot.
And you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys, we're sending you so much love. I'm going to go work with Tony now. He's been really patient waiting for the last 20 minutes. And so I'm going to run. So much love to you guys. We'll see you next Thursday at 10 a.m. Bye.